Welcome back, everybody. My name is Specs, and today we're going to be going over my Week 4 matchup against the New York Piplups in Season 9 of the Woods Draft League. So we're just gonna, standard format. Gonna go over their team, go over my go over what I have, and then we're just gonna go into the replay. So let's hop right into it. All right. So first up, round one pick. My boys got the Zapdos. Very, very scary Pokemon. Very, very versatile in the things it can do. Obviously, the stuff that doesn't owe you, Discharge, or Volt Switch, depending on which one you want, and then you can run either Heat Wave or Hurricane, and then, Roost and Defog. So it's a very, very solid defogger, especially with the introduction of Heavy Duty Boots. With this little item here, very, very good. Lets it negate Stealth Rock damage, which is really good for it considering it's weak to Stealth Rock. So yeah, another great thing is that it has static, very, very solid ability. Any physical move that makes contact with Zapdos will have a 30% chance to make the target paralyzed, which is really, really good. And it also has pressure, which while it's not used as often as static is, pressure can also be very neat. Zapdos can do some sub-roost sets with Toxic if it really wants to try to do something like that. Yeah, very interesting Pokemon. And then, besides from this standard defensive set, obviously you can go all out offense. It's got Thunderbolt, it's got Thunder, Hurricane, I already mentioned that, Heat Wave also mentioned. It also gets Weather Ball, which is really good for it considering he does have a manual rain setter that we will be getting into shortly. So, yeah, the standard rain set on Zapdos in OU would be very applicable to, to Draft League as well. So yeah, it can even set up screens if you want to try to do that as well, and it gets access to U-turn to make sure that it can always pivot out just in case there's that ground type and you don't want to use Volt Switch on that. It's also got Toxic, I already mentioned that as well, and even Whirlwind if you want to try something like that as well. So yeah, Zapdos is a very interesting Pokemon. Next up we got Slowbro. Yeah, it isn't its kingly brother, but it's still a very solid one in OU, and obviously it's still a great one in Draft. With access to Future Sight and Teleport, with a Regenerator, which is the only ability you really should be using on Slowbro. It is one of the best pivots, and it can set up for a lot of offensive sequences really easily with the aforementioned Future Sight plus Teleport. It's also got a wide move pool. It's got access to Scald, obviously. It's got fire moves. It's got Grass Knot. It's got Ice Beam. Very wide move pool in that regard. And it also has Nasty Pod and access to Trick Room. So if you wanted to use a Trick Room on, you could definitely make Slowbro do that. Also access to Thunder Wave and Toxic. So good for statusing your opponent. And it even has Yawn as well. And the last thing, and I forgot what I was going to mention. There's something. Oh god. There's something I forgot. Oh yeah, counter. So counter's kind of niche, but Slowbro's really good at taking physical hits, and if you want to take a U-turn, for example, from a Landorus Steer and counter, and just do a lot of damage to the switch and coming in, that's pretty fun and interesting. I've used that before a couple times. I know it's worked pretty well actually. So yeah, Slowbro, very, very good. Next up, we got Buzzwole. My favorite Ultra Beast by far. Unfortunately, was not able to draft it because I semi-randomly drafted. But yeah, obviously, all Ultra Beasts have access to Beast Boost, which is a great ability. And it's got a pretty wide move pool. It's got obviously fighting moves and bug moves, but it's also got Earthquake, Dual Wing Beat. It's got Ice Punch, High Horsepower. It doesn't get Earthquake, I don't. No, it does get Earthquake, yeah. High Horsepower is good for that Grassy Terrain stuff. Even's got access to Iron Head and Poison Jab to help deal with fairy types. And yeah, in terms of setup options, it's got Bulk Up, and that's about it. But Bulk Up is pretty much all you need, yeah. And then there's also that defensive set that's been running around in OU, the Rocky Helmet set with Toxic, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and Roost. Obviously, Ice Punch will be for something like Landorus Therian, which I do have, so you should be bringing Ice Punch no matter what. Yeah, obviously very solid stats. Fortunately, your SPDF is a little bit low, but that's okay because look at these. Look at these. HP, attack, and defense, very, very solid there. So yeah, very solid physical wall, and you hit really hard as well. SPDF, there's a little bit to want there, but you know, AV can kind of remedy that. I've seen that a couple times. It's pretty decent. Next up, we got Klefki. This is one of the manual raid setters I was talking about with access to Prankster. It can always get up a raid dance super quickly, which is good for it. Damp Rock obviously can extend the rain turns to 8. But besides Rain Dance, it's got some other good moves. You could actually do like an Iron Defensive Call Mine setup with Klefki, since it does get access to Drain Kiss. Make it like a Pseudo-Magirna. Obviously, it's not going to be as good, but you know, you can try it. There might be that good matchup for it. It also has access to Sword Power too, so yeah, you could literally make it Magirna. Besides the fake Magirna set, you can run Spikes, obviously, Thunder Wave, it's very common on it. Switcheroo as well, if you want to try to trick like ring targets for... Like, for example, if this guy drafted Regieleki, you know, because, you know, ground types are very common switching on Klefki, you can switch a rear ring target onto the Landorus, and then suddenly Regieleki is just going to be ripping through everything. So, yeah, very solid on a lot of utility there. And it also has access to a fun move called Fairy Lock, which I may or may not be using in a future video. Just letting you guys know, you can't... basically, it will prevent any Pokemon from switching the next turn. And you might think, like, oh, is that useful? This works even after Klefki has died, though. So, it could be very useful. Trapping in a Pokemon and do, like, a pseudo Dugtrio type of trapping, or Megazord trapping. You know, very, very useful in that regard. Anyway, moving on. We got this Cinderace, the Broken, the Vantoovers, that doesn't have Librero in this draft league, thank God. Obviously, you know, you can run heavy-duty boots. Very solid with that. You know, it doesn't take Hazard Chip because, you know, it's weak to rocks and takes spikes and T-spikes and Sticky Web and literally everything. So, you know, having heavy duty boots would be really nice for it. You can run other items as well if you're willing to have good defog or hazard control. So yeah. Next up, you got, you know, obviously Power Ball is the main thing for it. You know, it's a very strong spammable stab because unlike Flare Blitz, you don't take any recoil, but there is a mischance, so you gotta watch out for that. In fact, pretty much every single one of Cinderace's good moves have a mischance. High Jump Kick, mischance, obviously, and if you miss, very scary. You know, it's got good coverage. It's got like Gong Shot, Sucker Punch, Iron Head, U-Turn, especially, is really good. And if you want to run a special set, you can also run Work Up and Electro Ball. Probably doesn't work as well because you don't have Libero to boost your boost the moves. But you could try to work it out. You know, maybe it'll work. Maybe you got that good matchup for it. Next up, we got the Decidueye. Pretty solid Pokemon, I'd say. Decent stats, and it's got access to a pretty wide loophole, actually. You know, you can run both sides of the spectrum just because its stats are pretty decent on both sides, attacking stats wise. And you got decent moves on both sides, you know, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, and Giga Drain, Hurricane as well on the physical side. I'm sorry, special side. And then on the physical side, you got Leaf Blade, you got Poltergeist, which is a really strong move, Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, pretty decent. And it also got access to U-Turn, so you can even use it as a pivot, and it's got Roost as well, so pretty good in that regard. Spirit Shackle is a signature move, and you can also prevent people from switching out, which is pretty good there as well. So yeah, pretty solid one. Next up, we got Kingdra. Obviously, one of the things that will be abusing the manual rain setup by Klefki, and another mono we'll get into shortly. So yeah, Swift Swim with Rain. Obviously, one of the scariest Swift Swimmers out there. You know, you do not want to be taking Rain Boosted Hydro Pumps or Surfs with maybe like a Life Orb or a Specs. Don't want to be taking those. It's even got access to Hurricane as coverage for grass types, and obviously it's got that Draco. Drop that Draco. It's even got Flip Turn as well if you have like a bad matchup against some certain mon. Like, I don't know, let's say there is a Primarina, you know, like obviously your stats get walled, so you can use Flip Turn and get momentum on that instead, and then bring out your Decidueye and like, you know, Primarina's now blah 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 blah. A little bit of a flip turn core. That doesn't work. U-turn, flip turn. I don't know how to combine those two in a sensible fashion. But yeah, there's also mentioned you can also use a sniper set as well with focus lens. So focus on, yeah, focus lens, and then a Wait, it's not. No, it's scope lens, not focus lens. Sorry. The scope lens and then a focus energy. And if you have both of these at the same time, your crit rate will be 100%. Sniper boosts your crits to 2.25 times instead of 1.5 times. And then obviously with Draco Meteor, you will get to ignore the special attack drops after you use them with this set after you get the focus energy off. So you can just spam Dracos every single day. And Surf as well, you know. Guaranteed crits is pretty good. Next up we got Nidoqueen. Very scary. Basically slightly worse Nidoking. But you know, just because it's worse than Nidoking doesn't mean you should be not scared of it. A very wide move pool with Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Fire Blast, Flamethrower. You know, it's got moves for days, and yeah. And if you want to run physical, you can as well. You know, you got stuff like Earthquake and Ice Punch. Generally speaking, you don't want to run physical, just because you don't have a lot of moves to use Sheer Force with. Mainly the ground moves, like you don't really, like you have Earthquake. Drill Run doesn't count for secondary effect because the high crit ratio doesn't count as a secondary effect, unfortunately. So, yeah, you might not want to run physical, but special definitely works. And also, it's got access to pretty good hazard moves, that being Stealth Rock and Toxic Spikes, which is very scary in a draft league. Because you know, there can be a lot of teams that you just don't have a grounded poison type to use to take away the status, and if you don't have a defogger that's above the ground, T-Spikes could be hard to handle. Next up, we got Liepard. Very good mon. Again, Prankster. It could be another Weather Setter for Kingdra with Damp Rock and Rain Dance. It's also decently strong and decently fast, but very frail, unfortunately, for it. But, you know, has Knockoff. Very good for, you know, good utility. U-Turn as well. Specifically for my matchup, since I have a Diancie, he does have access to Iron Tail if he wants to use that, which can be very scary. It's got a decent coverage move besides that. You know, got Gunshot, Play Rough. It's decent at least, and it has T-Waves too to, you know, status any potential wrongdoers. Last up we got Castform. Okay, that's it. So that's his draft, and I'll just get right into my team because I spent too long talking about that. Anyway, so we got a Lando here. It's mostly Fizz Def with a little bit of Split Def thrown in there and a good enough speed to outspeed a modest Nidoqueen. We just got Defog, Earthquake, Knockoff, Toxic. Pretty standard Landers thing, all things considered. Next up, we got the Specs Curum, the thing that people say is broken in OU, and it kind of is on paper. Yeah, so Freeze Dry, Earth Power, Ice Beam, and Draco Meteor. Because I obviously need Freeze Dry for stuff like Kingdra. Earth Power is obviously needed for something like Klefki, and then Draco Meteor is good spammable stat once Klefki dies, and then Ice Beam is a stronger Ice Beam if I need it. Obviously, I'm going to run Modest, and I run enough speed to outspeed a max speed Buzzwole, in case that ever happened. Because, like, I think it could be reasonable for him to bring Scarf Buzzwole, and then if I knock off that Scarf with Landorus Therian, like, yeah, I mean, it could be possible. Next up, we got the Rotom-Wash, and it actually has a Sunny Day. Because I'm so worried about the Rain Kingdra that I want Sunny Days so I can reset the weather to something that isn't rain. So yeah, pretty fun. Basically, the Rotom will come in on Klefki as it uses Rain Dance and then Sunny Day on it. So, you know, I can't have any access to that type of stuff. Besides that, pretty standard Toxic Voltage, Hydro Pump, and then it's got max HP and max Split Def because, you know, I want to take those special hits. Next up, we got Hoopa. We'll bring Scarf Hoopa today because once Klefki dies, you know, Scarf Hoopa has a field day with Psychic, actually. It's pretty much unresisted except for a couple mons on his team. So, yeah, we got Dark Pulse as other stab, Psychic, and Focus Blast is for something like Klefki or Liepard if you decide to bring that. Trick is the last move, just in case I want to, like, if I did want to trick a Klefki, you know, cripple it with a Scarf. Sorry, I dropped something. Yeah, that would be good for that. Next up, we got Diancie. This is actually it's standard. Like if you go on the damage calculator, you search up Diancie. This is like the standard EV spread you get for it. I didn't really put too much thought into it, obviously. So I got Stealth Rock here because I wanted the Rocker, and then Power Gem, Moonblast, and Earth Power. So yeah. And last up, we got a Bronzong, and it's actually Double Dance Bronzong with Rest. I decided to do Resto Chesto with Heat Proof, because He probably wouldn't click Earth Power on the Bronzong, I don't know. And then I got Calm Mind, Iron Defense, and Psychic. So yeah, unfortunately the Bronzong does not get access to Store Power, so I cannot use that. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into the battle. Let me just switch to that. Yep, there we go. And then let me reset. Okay, so also spoiler alert, I won, I guess. No, I'm sorry, but yeah, well, don't worry about that. Just worry about the analysis of the match. And oh god, I screwed that up real bad, didn't I? Okay, anyway, so basically my thought process here is that I think I should just always leave Kyurem, because the main things that beat me would be Cinderace and Klefki, neither of which really want to deal with a Landorus Therian. So yeah, so he did leave Klefki, which was the right choice on his part. I could have like Earth Powered and killed him immediately if I wanted to, but I didn't want my Kyurem to get paralyzed. So whatever. I go to Rotom-Wash here on the Thunder Wave, just in case he went for Rain Dance, if he was crazy enough to go Rain Dance. And I get a Volt Switch off here because I obviously don't want to stand on Decidueye. I go back to Kyurem. Now I'm just going to go for a Freeze Dry and kind of look to see what type of damage I'm dealing. Doing 35% to Klefki, which indicates that it's not it's not specially defensive. So if I ever get a prediction into an Earth Power onto the Klefki, then I get to kill it for free, which is pretty good for me. Next up, I just go back to Rotom-Wash. He does go for Rain Dance, and he goes back to Decidueye as I go for the Sunny Day. So he's not gonna get that. Next up, we go to Landorus here as he goes for Swords Dance. Pretty scary. I got knockoff for this though. Unfortunately, he does get a Leaf Blade crit and takes me out. So the Leaf Blade crit did matter. If he didn't get the crit, I would have lived that. But in the end, after this, he does reveal that he has Sucker Punch. So the chances of me living after the Leaf Blade was, I don't think it was pretty plausible. So you know what, crit, whatever, it's fine. So I go to Kyurem to Revenge Kill. Obviously, Earth Power will kill from this range. Sucker Punch does a decent amount. So yeah, pretty bad start, but it's all right. We'll make it through. Buzzwole comes in here. I get to go to Bronzong. He goes for the bulk up. He goes for Drain Punch. Does a lot, but I got that Iron Defense going. I just wanted to be safe here, just in case the rolls were bad for me. So I just went for Rest to get back to full health and have a Chest Berry, obviously. And then we both just kind of start setting up a little bit here. I'm just gonna skip a couple turns, and I finally reveal Calm Mind. I go for Psychic here. It's actually, I had a decent range to kill him from here, from full. Unfortunately, I don't get it. Because if I did get it, this game actually would have gone a lot better in my favor, but we'll talk about that later. So he gets to go for the Drain Punch and gets that chip, but I kill him with the next Psychic. He goes to Kingdra here. He's actually Critdra, which is really bad because I know I mentioned Sniper Crit Kingdra before, but I was not considering it when I was building for him. So Kingdra is actually really scary for my team. And I accidentally go for Calm Mind here because, obviously I wasn't expecting a crit Kingdra right there. So I was like, I thought he was just going to go for Surf and try to get damage. But no, he just goes for the Focus Energy and then he takes me out with the follow-up Surf, which is pretty bad on my end. So I just go back to Kyurem here. He goes to Klefki on my second Freeze Dry. And here I accidentally misclicked. So I was going to go to Rotom here, obviously to block the Thunder Wave. Unfortunately, I got fat fingers, so I accidentally clicked Freeze Dry instead of Rotom, and well, now my Kyurem's paralyzed, which is pretty bad for me. I go to Diancie here on the Power Ball. It's doing quite a bit of damage as it reveals its Life Orb, but I can live any hit afterwards, like this HJK, and then I take it out with the Power Gem. So next up, he's probably going to bring his Kingdra, which he does, and kills me with Surf. Basically, I couldn't let him get a Focus Energy up there, because yeah, it's bad. I need to get chipped, so I just went for the Moonblast, just in case he tried to set up on me. He didn't though, so yeah. Rotom comes in here. I just need chip. I just need enough chip to get it in range for Scarf Hoopa. But he turns out he's Agility, which is really, really bad. So I did get the chip after Volt Switch for Scarf Hoopa to kill, but now it's all about if he can get this critical hit Draco Meteor. So he is Focus Lens, which means it's a 1/8 chance for him to get a Draco Meteor crit, which was the only way he's going to be able to kill my Hoopa, and basically the rest of my team at this point. So let's see what happens. Is my bad luck gonna turn out to screw me over? No, he doesn't. Yeah. Thankfully. I mean, the chances of him getting the crit were obviously much less than me not getting the critical hit. So like, you know, doesn't. I really wouldn't consider that luck or anything. I mean, it's not only like, it's not even like air slash flinching, which is 30%. It's like 12.5% chance to critical hit. Like, I'm not really like, if it did happen, that's basically hacks, in my opinion. So, I get the kill here. At this point, his Zapdos actually, I saw his team later on. He does not have Roost. So, at this point, once I get the Toxic off, it's pretty much game over. He doesn't even have Hurricane as well, which would have been able to deal with my Kyurem nicely, but at this point, I was just like, I'm just gonna kill it with, do as much damage as I can with Rotom. I don't really care about Preserver Differential, so, like, I could have, like, gone to, I could have gone to Kyurem here on the Discharge and then lived follow-up Heat Wave, because, I thought he was gonna be Hurricane and, like, Roost, and Weather Ball, but, like, he didn't have Roost, so he had, I think it was, like, U-Turn, Heat Wave, Discharge, and Weather Ball, so no Hurricane, no Roost, so, I mean, Kyurem actually did just kind of wall it a little bit, but you know, I just get the revenge kill with Hoopa, play it nice and safe, and yeah, that is game. So, you know, overall, I think my opponent really prepped really well with that crit draw. Like, I was not expecting that at all, and he really caught me off guard there. If he did get the critical hit with Draco Meteor on my Hoopa, like, I might have lost. Just because, you know, Rotom can't do too much to the Kingdra, just because, you know, it only has Volt Switch. So, yeah, it's a lot more scary for me if he did get that crit. But, you know, again, chances of him getting the crit were really small. You know, it's 1 in 24, usually 1 in 8 with the focus lens, with the scope lens, Jesus. So, I mean, like, I think it's still fine. Like, I wouldn't really say, like, he got hacks or anything. Like, this is kind of the expected result. So, yeah. Overall, really well played to my opponent. I get a nice little 2-0 there, which puts me, I think, second in the league, behind a certain somebody who is like 17-0. I'm only at like 11-0, so like he's way far ahead of me. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to, I don't really care if you like and subscribe. You know, if you want to, that's fine. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching again, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.